Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of DGT Live, coming at you from the Central Coast of California.
Yeah.
I'm Leo, along with Rick, and Francisco couldn't be here today. He's out on tour with some rock stars. What's going on?
We feel for his loss.
Yes, we do feel for his loss. But as we all know, his loss is your gain because you get more Rick and you get more Leo, and we're licked.
I don't know if that's a good thing though. Too much Rick and too much Leo can kill you.
Let us know in the comments down below. Remember to visit our website, digitalgametime.com. We're also on other forms of social media: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. You name it, we're there.
You know what? Just look up any app and search I was gonna say Digital's Game Time and see what comes up.
Digital Game Time.
Did I say
where
Digitals?
Digital's
Did I say
Game Time.
Digitals?
It's Digital Game Time.
I'm sorry, Leo. I'm still kind of sick, and you guys are probably gonna hear me cough and see
Thanks,
me walk
AJ
off.
Bishop. AJ Bishop is watching us live through the magic of Facebook Live.
Magic.
Yes. And a lot of you will also probably be watching through the magic of YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Later.
So this is how the format of the show works, ladies and gentlemen. You watch us live through the magic of Facebook, Digital Game Time being the keyword.
Yeah.
And if you fail to reach us here on Facebook, you can also reach us here on YouTube.
But we know that they're not failures though. They won't fail.
No, it's just sometimes Satan works his power to try to stop people from viewing Digital Game Time.
DGT is almost like an instant, how would I say, cleansing of the soul.
Yes,
So
the digital soul.
you're welcome. The digital soul.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Your browser history will be
Sorry,
cleansed.
my Austrian accent is
your
flowing through.
web history will be cleansed after watching this show.
I sure hope so.
That's how it works.
I sure hope so. For your sake. Sal Servin's watching us. What's up, Sal? Drop a comment down below. You all right there,
I'm back.
Rick?
I'm
You
back.
right?
I'm just kidding. I'm back.
Legalize marinara. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started with some news of the week.
What do we got for this week, Leo?
Some news out of Sony.
Out of some
Actually, it's not news. It's just a new gameplay trailer.
Updates. Huh?
Actually, a new CG trailer. And then they followed it up the next day by, which was today. Yesterday, the gameplay, the CG trailer. Today, the new gameplay trailer. The new Kratos, God of War, coming at us pretty soon. April 20th.
All right.
April 20th.
It's about a month away.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for this. Very excited. Rick, ask me why. Ask me why.
Why are you
Because the God of War franchise,
Yeah.
even at its lowest point,
Uh-huh.
which a lot of people might agree would be like around Ascension,
Was that the PS Vita version?
the PS3 version.
PS3?
Yeah, the PS Vita games were awesome also.
was it?
Yeah, they were great. And needless to say, I'm a big fan of this franchise. A lot of people bag on the story elements and the character elements of this of this franchise. However, I absolutely love it. I think it's great. It kind of harkens back to the days of gameplay being king, as opposed to narrative-driven storylines with kind of minute gameplay elements to them. This new game is apparently gonna kind of right the wrongs of the old games in terms of story elements and character development, and it's gonna continue having some of its God of War gameplay.
I mean, it looks
gonna be a lot of
amazing. I'm not
tweaks, but-
knocking on it. It looks like
Yeah.
it's an awesome game, but it definitely seems like it left its God of War traits and genre, and it went more to a Resident Evil, Zelda-ish kind of adventure.
It looks more like a Naughty Dog type of game, over the shoulder point of view, kind of up closer than what we were used to in the older games.
Well, no, I meant more. I mean, yeah, the third person view
Right.
is more over the shoulder, like you said. But before, honestly, I only played part 1, but I saw 2 and 3 little clips here and there. But it was still that just nonstop kind of button mashing kind of
Right.
action where you just dash and attack and do all this stuff, upgrade or whatever. This looks like it's more planning, more getting your gear set up.
Oh,
getting
absolutely. It's a more tactile God of War, that's for sure. Where in today's gameplay reveal, they showed off this new sword. You know, a lot of us have come accustomed to the Blades of Chaos, the two blades with the chains attached to them. Now he has this Mjolnir type of axe with him, where he tosses it. It gets through the enemies. It gets stuck on something, and then he presses the triangle button to retrieve it. And if there's something in the way between him and retrieving it, then it hits that, whatever that is, also. So it's just an amazing little gameplay element to it. I see this as the same Kratos in terms of its, I guess you could say, maybe violence, but with a little bit more of a tactile element to it, such as what you get out of the Souls games. So, very exciting stuff.
It looks amazing.
In addition to that,
it looks great.
In addition to that, one of the reveals from playing the gameplay here was that his son, Kratos' son, which is accompanying him on this journey, he's also assisting him in many ways. Like, look to your left, look to behind you to your left, look there, look this and that. If they're fighting a boss, he will try to distract the boss's attention so that Kratos has an opportunity to kind of like chop at him, you know?
Do you know if there's going to be like a co-op where a second player can control the kid?
Nothing yet has been said. I mean, there could be that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, being how long in development this game has been and the expertise that they have. However, it just, so far, it's been a pure pleasure and joy to see what they have been able to do with the revamping of the God of War. Of course, we already know this takes place in Norse mythology, as opposed to the Roman mythos that the previous games have been accustomed to. And not only that, but a few tidbits out of the storyline have come out. Not major spoilers, but we have found out that the son doesn't know Kratos' past. He doesn't know that he's involved with being a God of War. He doesn't know why all of a sudden Odin is after Kratos. Kratos apparently has been in hiding, and Odin and his I guess you could say minions have finally located Kratos. So now Kratos has to go check out the top of a mountain to figure out what's going on there and how to see how the story is unfolding. And this whole story they're doing something a little different. It's unfolding from this point of view. You get no cutscenes. So
it's mainly just kind of gameplay.
Yeah, you just think of Birdman. Like, have you seen Birdman with Michael Keaton?
No, I haven't.
Where it's just all like his point of view. Okay. Just like no cuts, just one camera, and the story unfolds that way from his point of view, which is, I think, genius.
So one thing, though, I mean, it's still about the game, but it's kind of a little bit more stepping outside of it. I could be totally wrong, but isn't Greek mythology and Norse mythology two separate time periods in history?
Yes.
I mean, aren't we talking about like a huge gap in between them?
Right. Which I mean, I don't want to go too far into it, but pretty much when Kratos became the God of War, he became immortal. And so he's living through the ages. He killed all of the Roman gods.
Gotcha.
And now we're moving on, I guess, to Odin and all the Norse gods.
The next gods.
Yes.
Bring them on.
So but it's them that are coming after him. He's not really the one that's trying to outright look for them and destroy all of them.
He just kind of mind his own thing, and all this crap has hit the fan, as they say. And I mean, dealing with it.
He's tried to live in seclusion, you could say, and he had a son, and the rest will be history once we play this game.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a fantastic game.
It looks amazing. It looks
loving
great.
The graphical aesthetics to this game. I'm loving the way that the gameplay plays, and also the voice acting. And so far, in the about 2 hours of gameplay that has been revealed so far, the character development has been top notch. So nothing but great things about this game so far.
And now this is also a PS4 exclusive, right?
Yes, Kratos is a Sony property, PS4 exclusive. As much as I like to, I guess you could say, tout the PC Master Race here and there, this is one of the reasons why I have a PlayStation 4. It's because of the Sony exclusives. They're some of the best video games on the planet.
Yeah, this... So far, I'm not... I gotta go buy a PS4 now. But if it would be a game that I want to do it, then I think this might be one.
I think this is a system seller.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Definitely.
I think this is a system seller. So, hey, it's a great time to be a gamer, especially if you have that expendable money to get a PS4.
What a time to be alive.
Yep. Andrew is watching us also. Sal's watching us. And they're both saying that they're going to get the game. So kudos to you guys. I'm looking forward to it. I know I already pre-ordered my copy of it. Looking forward to April 20th.
Woo.
Ooh, yeah.
Midnight release kind of deal, or what's going on with that?
It's going to be delivered by mail. So I'm not getting my hopes up too high of getting it on day one. Because even though they claim it's supposed to arrive on day one, in the past I've been burnt,
let down, huh?
That was Amazon. Let's hope Best Buy does a better job. I pre-ordered with Best Buy. So.
Yeah, balls in your court, BB. Best Buy.
Yeah, so there we go.
So
let's move on. There's quite a few other news as well. Ni no Kuni 2. Rick, did you play the first Ni no Kuni?
I did not. I heard about it, but I never played it.
Now, you know, Studio Ghibli is
Giblets?
behind this. They're the famous studio that has had numerous animated features that some have included some Academy Award-winning animated features as well. And they a few years ago they worked on this game called Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. And I'll be honest with you, I don't play RPGs, but I bought that one, and I think I put a good 15 hours into it, and I was having fun with it. I wasn't any good at it. I was kind of like progressing through it at a very slow pace, but it was a lot of fun. I love the aesthetic of it. It's very PG in many ways. You could definitely play with the kids watching, and they enjoy it. And now Ni no Kuni 2 is about to release, and the embargo is up. It's been getting a lot of really great reviews, a lot of 90 pluses.
I gotta say, it looks very beautiful.
Yes, it is. It's absolutely stunning. It's
gorgeous. And look at this.
Yeah. I mean, Academy Award winning studio behind the art.
Yeah, I mean, we're going from the realistic look of God of War to a more cartoony, more kid type of appeal, but in its way it still looks very crisp and very vibrant with the shading and the coloring that they're using.
Oh yes. And one of the great things about this, its Metacritic score so far is at an 85, and I think it might get a little higher as some of the other scores trickle out.
And what's the release date on this? Do you know?
The release date, I think it's another week or two.
Well, I might say it towards the end.
Another 1 or 2 weeks here.
Oh, so right around the corner, huh?
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Gotcha.
That's why they just released the embargo for it. And one other positive, for me anyway, I know a lot of people like those super long RPGs, but I've heard that anybody can kind of like speed along the main storyline of it.
3/23, it's out.
It's out.
Yep.
It's out.
Wait, what are we on? Today's the 19th. 3 days away.
Yeah. 3 days away from Ni no Kuni 2.
4 days. Sorry, guys. Had to count.
So if you're just doing main quests, you could beat this game, I've heard, in about 32 hours. That's probably about 30 hours is probably my threshold for most games. I think I'm gonna get this one, Rick.
Wow.
I think I'm gonna play it. But first, First, I need to beat Ni no Kuni 1.
You got to put your priorities straight. You got God of War coming out. You got Ni no 1 that you got to pass. Ni no 2 is coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
And then isn't there a couple other titles that are coming out?
You know what? What I've been doing as far as gaming goes, I have, as I've said it many times, I have a long queue of games, right? And there's a lot of games that I've just kind of halved. You know, I've played maybe 15 hours of one game, 10 hours of another game, never really finished them. So what I've been trying to do lately is going back to those older games that I'd never finished.
And finally going through
And
them?
finally going through
Wow.
them, busting them out. That just happened this week. I finally beat Ratchet and Clank. I love that game. That game is so awesome.
I can just totally imagine like Leo on your deathbed, and you having your main regret is I never passed X game.
So far, my main regret is never playing through all of the Metal Gear games. I've started like 3 of them, and I've never beat them.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, I've accomplished those.
Yes.
I
See?
haven't done 5.
See, I've done
At all.
I've
I
done
haven't
1
touched it.
and 2 about halfway.
You're missing out, guy.
I'm missing out, and
Story's
I know it.
kinda,
I need to.
but the
Yeah,
game's fun.
I've heard they're fun. They're lots of fun, and so here we go. There's still
Yeah,
a
definitely.
lot of gaming left to do.
We got to comment. Love the game style. Many anime artists are adapting this style of graphics. It is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of
Martin!
of a development side where they can spend more time on other things, other factors, as opposed to getting that realistic look. But it's enough to the point where it looks nice and crisp, and it doesn't look like just sketch work. It looks like an actual completed work. And yeah, I agree with you. I love that art style, that cell shading.
Especially with the new consoles out, you know, like the Xbox One X, the PlayStation 4 Pro. A lot of these games are upscaled or playing natively at 4K resolutions. And at worst, they're playing beautifully at 1080p resolutions. Right. You know, at a very crisp 1080p. So, hey, it's...
We got to upgrade our tech.
Beautiful. It's
we got
absolutely
to upgrade our TVs, our monitors, everything.
Yeah, we got the technology. We just need that monitor, that 4K.
We need that money, is what we
need.
need.
More than anything, it has to have the HDR, high dynamic resolution.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So what's HD?
Because
HDR?
they say that 4K without that, you probably won't be able to tell the difference.
So is it kind of like a 30 frames versus 60 frames?
Think of it. It's a difference between. You know, when you look up at a cloud, right? There's a lot of nuance between the whites and the super light grays or in the blues. But when you try to take a picture of that and then put it on a regular monitor, you just see kind of like the outlines of the clouds, and a lot of that detail gets blurred out. When you're looking at that through a HDR set, then you really see all those extra colors. So even though a television might have, let's say, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 million colors, right? An HDR TV set will give you 2 million of that shade of color, 2 million of white, 2 million of red. Or I mean, it's just...
So it's like a 1.5
It's not exactly that, but that's just to give you the idea of how much more color an HDR set.
I'll allow it. Yeah. I won't buy it. I can't afford it, but I'll allow it.
Oh man! Well,
so Ni no Kuni out in 4 days.
Ni no Kuni, I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for it.
It looks nice.
It doesn't have a lot of hype compared to some of these other titles like God of War, but it's definitely one of those that I'm excited for. And I'm not even a big RPG
If
fan.
I had a PS4, I'd probably give it a shot.
There you go. I think it actually might come out later for other consoles as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another Call of Duty, huh?
Yeah, man. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered has been leaked this week. And they're expecting it to be confirmed, if not already. It has been confirmed. But more news are going to be released soon. This is actually my favorite Call of Duty of all time, Call of Duty 2. And it was my introduction to the Call of Duty series, actually. And
you know what? I think it was for me as well.
It's a 9-year-old title as of right now. It was released in 2009. But it's a great game. It was a lot of fun. I know a lot of people don't like these games for their storylines, for the campaign modes, I mean. And that's fine. But I absolutely love the Call of Duty campaign modes. And
this one, I remember it to be a more realistic. It wasn't far-fetched. It wasn't over-exaggerated.
Right. Because it takes place in modern times, like these times that we're living in right now. It's not in the future, it's not in the past, it's right now. You see these guys actually walking through neighborhoods that look like our
Similar
neighborhoods
to
that we
what's-
live in. Yeah.
I think, if I remember correctly, this is the one that I actually, like you, got into the Call of Duty. I actually played the campaign. I actually passed this one. And then from that, I don't know if I did Black Ops 1 or 2. But after that, it just kind of got repetitive, and I just kind of steered clear of.
What I would like to know is when they remaster these, is it gonna be just like the same graphics but up res, or are they gonna completely redo all like the character models and some of the other graphical aspects of them? Because you could get this right now on PC and just have everything bumped up
Upscale
to
your
ultra
resolution.
graphics. Yeah,
Excuse me.
legalize marinara.
I would say if it was any other franchise, I could see them doing that. But because these guys bust out a new game every year, year and a half, I don't see them as, maybe a little bit longer, I don't see them as dedicating that much time and resources into a remastered version like that.
Right.
It's kind of like polish it up a little bit, get it out there, get some more revenue, and move on to the next thing.
Yes.
So I would say no.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had the chance to play the Call of Duty Modern Warfare remastered, the first game remastered, but I'm assuming they're probably going to end up giving it the same treatment.
Yeah.
I mean, but this one is probably one that I'll actually end up getting because this it goes back to what got me into it.
That's true.
Another game just released on mobile, PUBG.
Oh, so it's finally released, huh?
Finally out. I mean, I installed it. It's out for iOS and Google platforms. Android platforms, yeah. And I actually downloaded it today. And according to the release note when you first install the game is they're doing kind of like a soft release on it where there's only certain regions where this game is coming out.
Oh, wow.
But they're like just rolling it out, little by little, making sure that everything goes as smooth as they can possibly make it.
So they're basically expecting a massive amount of downloads, and that's why they're kind of...
Yes, they're taking it slow.
So
and even so, if the PC is anything to go by, this game is going to be very buggy. And there's going to be a lot of cheating.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at the beginning, PC release was... Sheesh.
It's PUBG on the go, man. This was, in my opinion, the funnest game of last year. Yes, I get it. It didn't have a storyline. The graphics don't look great compared to some of these other games, but it was the most fun. Each game was a storyline in its own.
It's definitely just drop in, have your action, have your fun, and move on to the next round.
Yeah, I definitely sunk in the most hours into this game.
I took it more as a like a traditional Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. You're not really in it for the story. You're in it for just fighting, compete against your buddies locally, internet-wise, whatever. But that's it. That's the gameplay. That's the gist of this kind of game. Yeah, I could see them later on if they get enough push behind it to put some kind of campaign mode, a little bit of a story, character creation, something like that. But it's not needed.
Yeah.
It's definitely not needed. It's a fun, enjoyable game as it is. Mobile version, though, I don't know. Have you played it? How does it handle?
Actually, didn't get a chance to play it.
Okay.
It was right before we were getting ready for the show that I installed it, and I was just happy that I was able to find it and install it. That was to me just good enough for now. I'll check it out later. I don't really expect to have too much fun with it on mobile, just because I'm so used to the PC version,
right.
And I'm kind of a stickler for the way it controls.
It definitely seems like it's just got a few minutes to kill here and there. Pull it out, get a round or two in, and move on.
Yeah, well, you're waiting in line
go back to work
at your local grocery store.
Exactly.
And just knock out a round of PUBG. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
All right. Well, we're now looking at Stranger Things. The characters this week. They reworked their contracts, and some of the numbers have been released, and everybody's getting a very significant bump in their pay.
Wow.
The adult actors, the two main protagonists, have gotten a bump. Let me see. I'm trying to look at the numbers right now, but they're very significant. They're making about 10 times more for season 3 than they did the first 2 seasons.
Wow.
Whereas in the first 2 seasons, I think the kids were getting about somewhere along the range of $20,000 or $30,000 per episode.
Dang.
Right now, they're going to be...
That's still a hefty chunk of change.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about, what, 13 or so episodes?
Yeah, they're going to be getting close to close to $100,000 per episode. Which, I mean, if you think about it, how popular this franchise is and how much money they're making from them.
It definitely picked up after season 2. Is the full cast coming back or
Yes,
okay.
yes, that's part of the beauty of it. That means, with more money, they're all definitely coming back. And I think that this bodes well for the future of this beautiful series on Netflix. So
it's definitely a very interesting, very awesome series. If you haven't seen it by now, definitely go check it out. Do start at season 1. Don't skip ahead. Start from the beginning.
It's definitely one of those linear ones that you need to follow from the beginning.
But do you think it hit more with 80s, 90s people rather than, newer generations or just someone wanting to watch another show?
No, actually, I doubt it. I think it hooked a lot of the older crowd like us, like the 80s kids. But it actually, I think...
It held up to the standards of...
It definitely holds up to the standards of the younger crowd because, as you know, I have 3 younger kids. And my oldest, which is 10 years old, she's super into Stranger Things. Oh, yeah. She loves Stranger Things. Wow. I think that the crowd that kind of is into the jump scares and like the spooky stuff, what's this game?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's, that crowd. I think they're the same crowd that Stranger Things is attracting. So... Oh, here we go. I finally found him, folks.
Finally.
Yes. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the child actors will earn 12 times their previous deals, while the adults will be getting $350,000 per episode. Yes. And before they were getting paid $100,000 and $80,000 per episode. The adults.
Sheesh.
So now it's $350,000, whereas the kids, they were getting $20,000 per episode before. And get this, now $250,000 per episode.
That's not even like double or triple, man.
I think that deserves a clap.
These kids are set for life. Maybe not, but that's a lot of money. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's so cool, man.
I'm proud because of them. Because
I am proud because I'm their father.
Because prior to this, Winona Ryder, I think, was the only recognizable celebrity in the whole series, in the whole cast. All the kids and even the sheriff, what's his name? I forget his name. I think I may have heard of him in 1 or 2 other episodes, but movies, yeah. But it wasn't like a major role. This to him, like this made him big. The kids, it made them all big.
Yeah.
Apart from this huge amount of cash that they're making, which congratulations to them. This is opening their doors to other shows, other movies. I mean,
yeah.
This is just the first step.
I remember last year there were rumors that this season 3 might just be their final season if they were unable to work out their contracts.
Wow.
And that after that, there were talks about them possibly setting this whole thing in modern times. Like fast forward to now, and where all the kids are all grown up, they're different actors. That was a possibility if these contract negotiations didn't go down.
I could see that happening.
I'm really happy they went down, though.
I can see that happening in like a 4th or a 5th season. Give us some time to kind of push towards
change
that.
It up.
But not yet.
Can you imagine Stranger Things in the 90s? That would be awesome.
Well, it's not that far of a stretch of the era that they're in right now.
It's about 10 years down the line.
Yeah, but
can you imagine
style-wise,
guys like oh my gosh, who was it? Russell, toothless trucker hat kid. Can you imagine him like, boom?
Man, I forget their names already.
He's 17 now. He's
But
listening to Tupac and Biggie in his room.
How old are they
He's
right
wearing
now?
this whole gangster get up now.
How
90s
old,
gangster.
How old are they right now? You know?
in the series?
No, in real life.
Oh, in real life, I think they're around 11 and 12.
No, they're older than that.
As of season 2.
They're older than that. Aren't they like 14, 15?
Well, like the big sister
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
her boyfriend.
what I was trying to-
they're like 15, 16, I believe.
no, I think they're older than that.
And
Well, what I was trying to get
but
that.
then again, I don't know. I mean, 'cause I'm saying these numbers based off of Beyond Stranger Things. It's like a little documentary that you can watch. Not documentary, but like these little episodes where
It's after the show.
they're
It's
interviewed after the show.
their
about
their own
experience,
personal commentary
and
and
they're
whatnot.
talking about.
What I was trying to get at was
But I don't know when that was recorded. Though.
we're used to. Well, I mean, it was done.
So I'm assuming
post-
we're a whole year later.
Yeah.
So they probably are around 13 right now.
So, what was I going to say? We're used to their age that we
Yes.
see in their series, the role that they play, and they fit it well. They do a good job as it is. If they were to jump too far of a sequence, I think it's going to break that
the immersion
feeling
of it.
the role that they're playing. They're either going to be playing too old or they're going to be playing too young.
Right.
If they don't do it just right.
Well, I like how they did it from season 1 to season 2, where there was like a whole, I guess you could say like a whole almost year that passed by between the events. You know,
And it
might
was,
not,
and-
might not have been a year.
In
but it was,
real life, it was about a year from season one
right.
to season
So it made
season
perfect
2.
sense to see how they've grown and all that. And
I would love to see, the next series, another year or two in their life where, they're maturing more, they're growing physically. Because like you said, like that kid, the toothless kid, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but I forget his name. But I think everybody would like to
Dustin.
see him.
It's
Dustin. I think it is
It's either
Dustin.
Russell or Dustin.
No,
I want to
not
say it's Russell,
No, not Russell.
but Russell's also the kid from Up.
Dustin sounds like that's his name. I can't. There's a Mike. There's, I think Dustin.
Can you imagine them played in modern times by Lou Diamond Phillips?
What?
I'm just kidding.
You and your Lou Diamond. No, but I think it would
We
be
have to get Lou
awesome
Diamond in there.
to have them getting older, maturity wise and physically wise. Kind of seeing them play out their role as they actually age.
Right.
It'll be difficult because how many more stories can you add? How can you continue the upside down with this theme? It's going to get to a point where it's going to get played out. But
I
as
kind
it
of
is
like
right
though
now,
what they did in season 2, where they didn't play it out too much, where it was just kind of like just enough of a glimpse to let us know that there's something much bigger on the
dang
other
that
side.
D'Artagnan.
Next.
Moving on.
Oh man, new Avengers trailer. I'm gonna put some sound on this little guy,
The entire time I knew it.
but
For
it's
had one goal.
definitely something remarkable what Marvel's doing here
Wipe
with
out half the
the hype
universe.
train behind these movies. Legalize Mariner.
The Infinity Stone.
And
He can do it with
I
the snap of his fingers.
I have to say, man, sometimes these trailers they're better than the films.
Thanos.
Hold on, sorry, I was looking at the comment.
Dustin is his
Dustin.
screen name. Dustin.
Yeah, it is Dustin.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Hashtag Leos was right.
Every time you do that marinara thing, it makes me want to laugh and makes me cough more. So, Infinity War. This came out about 3-4 days ago, right?
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm craving this more.
I think it's good, except
Before,
This is my favorite part in this whole trailer. I'm gonna even rewind it so we can see the beginning of it because it shows the
I
awesomeness.
think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good. Wow.
Hey, April 27th.
so
we know it
we've
moved
already,
up.
Yeah,
a
we already
week.
talked about it.
And I hate to say this, guys, and I know I'm gonna sound like a hater. Let me know in the comments down below if I do or not.
Hey.
But I the Avengers films, I love watching them one time and that's it. Whereas the Avengers, I'm sorry, the Avengers, I like watching them one time and that's it. Whereas the Guardians of the Galaxy, I could watch them over and over again.
I don't think. I mean, why would you be a hater? That's just your own personal.
No,
but
well, and you know, a lot of people absolutely
think-
love these films, and I think they're great films.
I
but
think it's
they're the
more
type of
towards
films-
people
Yeah.
like Pancho and I that love the whole MCU
Oh yeah,
as it is, the lore, the story behind each character.
and they've been doing an
we
excellent
love
job.
to see their development. We love to see them in action. We love to see them in real life.
Yes.
So I think that's why we see it more than once. I'm not gonna say I'm obsessed and I see it like hundreds of times.
Or buy their hot toys that cost $300 a piece.
Yeah, exactly. You know who we're talking about. I've seen each Avenger movie probably at most 3 times, and that was because one time I would see it, and then the next time like maybe my wife would want to see it, so I'd
Right.
watch it with her, and then maybe the final time would be because my kids wanted to watch it, so I would see it with them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't because like, oh, let's watch it. I wouldn't say no, but it wasn't like, oh, we have to see this.
I love the original Iron Man films.
It was good.
I
Which
love,
came out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
I
just
love
how
the
time
Blade
flies.
films. Nobody talks about the Blade films. Even the last
One
Blade
was
film,
good.
One was great.
2
I
was
think.
crap.
2 was
And 3 was okay.
And 3 was just kind of like, okay, we know what it is. Let's just have fun with it. Don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
And then we have fast forward to the Edward Norton days with Incredible Hulk. That one was good. And they've had a great run of films, but I think that when
Hater. You did get a comment. Hater.
but Guardians, man, it's just on another level. It's, I mean, quite literally in the lore, they're on another planet.
Well,
Like,
see,
when it comes to all this stuff, and I just think there's so much better than watching an Avengers film.
but I see that's what I was trying to get
Yeah.
at. The whole Avengers thing is about the whole story coming together. So they have to, go further in depth of, who's who and why they're, they are who they are.
Yeah,
The Guardians was just kind of a ball out of left field, kind of just something to have fun, something that wasn't originally planned within this timeline, and they just kind of,
they hit a home run.
They squeezed some space in there. They threw them in there. Said this is kind of a fun film. This is just kind of a little bit different. This is just for the enjoyment. This is to have fun, and it hit well because it's just different.
Yeah,
It was something, and we had a comment that the soundtrack is better. It's because it all fits into just enjoying what it is, the originality,
Yes.
the differences, the creativity.
aside from that, I think the performances, Chris Pratt, man, that guy is a genius comedian when it comes to a on-screen comedian. He has that timing down perfect. He's very
See-
charismatic, and he has the look of a superhero.
See that now? Here's the thing. Now
Uh-huh.
I could be wrong on this, but Peter Quill, Star-Lord, isn't a goofball. He's he's a captain. He's
Right.
He's a legit guardian. He's doing his job. By putting Chris Pratt in there, that's where I'm guessing you're getting more amusement out of it because they're taking
Right.
a serious role and making it more comedy, more
Right, 'cause
superhero
that's what Chris
slash
Pratt does.
Joker.
Yeah.
So, and it's good. I'm not saying it's wrong. He did it well. It was an awesome movie. Both Volume 1 and Volume 2 were
Yeah,
great.
from what I understand from, I think you and Francisco have told me in the past, is that they were not a very popular team as far as the Marvel heroes go.
Nobody really knew much about the Guardians
And,
of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and so they decided to take a lot of leeway with their characters and their lore, and that's why you end up with a guy like Chris Pratt and kind of giving him the keys to the Ferrari and saying, take it out. Have fun with it.
And Ragnarok, why it was a success as big a success as it is,
Yes.
or was because they kind of bit that style of where they're just doing
Right.
random jokes and punchlines, and they're not really sticking to the solid what Thor is. They're kind of making him a goofball, kind of making him more Joker, more friend, just more appealing to that
Well,
kind of audience.
remember the first Thor movie when he's first introduced.
Mm-hmm.
He's this very arrogant young man, and he comes back and he's cracking jokes with his crew, and the dad gets mad at him, whatever. He tells him he needs to be more serious. Then from that moment on, the film takes a much more serious tone because, like, blank hits the fan and things got real. And this is kind of like going back to that original, like, looseness that Thor had in that first film, and I absolutely love it, and I think it works better for that character.
They're definitely going more traditional, what do they call it? What do they call it? Hubris.
Yes.
Where his humor, his comedy is put in there. In the Avengers movies, he wasn't like that. He was very serious. He was there to get his brother back, take him back home. He was there to help and defend. Every now and then he would crack little jokes. Oh, he's my brother. Oh, he did this.
Yeah.
Oh, he's adopted. Like little jokes like that, which is ha ha ha. But in Ragnarok, almost every other scene was something funny that he would say, or he would talk about how he's better and blah, blah, blah. Like boasting, his hubris. That's how he was in the comic. He was basically kind of like, I'm better. I'm not so much, how would I say, trying to humiliate his opponents, but he would brag about his strength, about his defeats, his victories and whatnot. And that's what they were using in this one. And I like that because he was a powerful Norse god, the god of thunder, and they showed his power, but at the same time his weakness. And in between, he had all these little jokes and, I got to do this, I got to do that.
Yeah.
The little stupid things where he would throw the ball, it would hit him in the face when it would bounce off the glass, and he gets up kind of like, oh, nothing happened kind of deal.
Right.
Like all that stuff is funny. It's cool. And that's that Guardian style where it was just kind of quick little humor here and there, but get the story going. And I think that's why you liked it a little bit more than the Avengers. Avengers was more character building, more, seriousness. The tone was basically to develop and to explain leading up to what's going to happen now. And I think that's that division.
Right.
I like both. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I like both sides, both humor and both seriousness.
Right.
But I just love how all of this is coming together
Yeah,
and being
it's
pieced.
kind of like having a family, and each person has their own personality. You kind of, like, depending on what you like, you kind of are attracted more to certain types of personality characteristics. I personally like the comedy, so I'm attracted more towards, the original Iron Man, the Thor Ragnarok, and the Guardians of the Galaxy types. And I really enjoy the action movies with the other types, but that's personally what I like. The Spider-Man too.
It's just a shame that X-Men, the mutants, can't be in on this.
Eventually, I'm sure they will be. Eventually.
Yeah, but
they're probably going to be in like phase 4 or 5 or something like that.
Infinity War, unfortunately, they are involved. But because the whole Fox and Warner Brothers and...
At what point do you think will be where they'll just kind of like push the reset button and say, we're going to redo everything?
Redo the whole Marvel timeline? That? Wow. We're talking about like years from now because...
I'm thinking like a few generations.
Yes, because as it is, I mean, we know that the Avengers, contract-wise, they're done. They're already moving to their next phase.
They're moving on.
I would say out of these guys, well, we've had 10 years worth of movies out of what already happened with them. Another 10 more years to go with these new guys. So before they even think about, kind of reincorporating all the original characters and changing everything and all that, yeah, we're talking about another decade or two before something like that even happens.
It's going to be a good minute, man. Good minute.
That would be massive.
Speaking of massive, Atari, man. Look at this beautiful piece of machinery. Atari's releasing a new console, Rick. What do you think about that?
Okay.
They
is this a remake of its console?
No,
or is this they're trying to get back into the console war?
Let's just say this. It's very confusing to a lot of people.
Okay.
I know it sounds exciting, like, oh, new console manufacturer. No, it's not new console like PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo. No, it's going to be really different. Atari's releasing a new console that plays all their retro games. And in addition to that, it's going to serve as like a set-top box that plays apps.
Okay. So kind of like the old school web browser device for your TV.
I'm thinking it's gonna be a hybrid between like the NES Classic Edition mixed with like a Fire Stick, you know, or a Google Chrome, like built into it. You know,
All right.
You're gonna have apps and you're gonna be able to play certain types of games and all that.
So
But-
it's not really a console. It's more of like a flash stick or something that's just going to allow some storage, but more than anything, it's to just, like you said, like Amazon Fire,
yeah.
their Fire Stick. Sorry. All right.
So I mean,
Coming
it's
soon
Are there any games that you remember fondly?
from Atari.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, I played the crap out of the Atari that we had with I don't know how many games, but I confuse those games with what was the other? Was it Intellivision? Or
Yes, there's the Intellivision.
So I confuse a lot of the games. The one that I do know for sure is Pitfall. That was Atari. That one I spent countless hours, and I don't think I ever got anywhere. That game was hard.
Yeah.
You remember which one I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
Pitfall? Yeah, I remember that game. Actually, I played it not too long ago.
The
My
original?
son got one of those little
the-
portable games with all the Atari library in them, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna try Pitfall. It's a popular game."
There was another
I was actually
game
playing it for longer than I thought I would. It was kind of
called Crystal Defender or Crystal Castle,
fun. Okay.
and it was kind of like a Qbert game.
Mm-hmm.
So each hexagon, I believe, is what they were, or pentagon, the shape. It was built in like randomly sorted stages, and you had to go and collect the crystal off of every platform.
Oh.
And avoid, ships, or I forget what it was.
Right.
That was, trying to get you. So I remember that one. Combat, the tanks.
Okay. Yes.
Remember
I think I know
it-
which one you're
it was
talking
the
about.
and you toggle the little reset button or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And you can do tanks, helicopters, airplanes, and something else. Anyways, I remember playing the crap out of that game. Space Invaders.
Yes. Everybody
That
knows
one?
Space Invaders. Centipede, Pac-Man.
Man, there was just so many games that. I mean, we're talking about how many. That wasn't even 8-bit, right?
Honestly, I have no idea what the original Atari was running.
It might have been 8-bit.
specs-wise.
It might have been. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But man, just those stick figure shapes, and that was like, oh man, like I gotta play this game. Back in the day, we were little kids and we had to play
Yeah.
with the one joystick and the one button. That brings back so many memories.
Awesome.
The Atari. I wouldn't buy a brand new console if they made it.
No, there's so many other ways to play those
Yeah.
games. Both as part is piracy and also legally as well as through apps and whatnot.
Now, do you know if this is the original Atari company that's coming back
It's
to
the
do
original
this?
Atari company.
Okay.
It's called the Atari VCS. That's the official name. That was the name was unveiled this week, and the console is going to be unveiled, I believe, for the Game Developers Conference next week.
All right.
So that should be
More
fun.
likely get some
which
more
is kind of
stuff.
weird, though, considering that the Game Developers Conference is not meant for new game announcement or
Mm-hmm.
new console announcements. It's just meant for the tech and techniques behind the developers,
Mm-hmm.
the people actually making the games. That's what this conference is for. It's not for us, for the
All right.
fans.
So hopefully within about another week or so, we'll get a little bit more info on what this is all about.
Yeah. Within the next few days, we should be expecting a big announcement from Atari, but
I'll allow it.
and they're also looking for like other developers to port their games over to their console, which is, I don't know.
It definitely seems kind of like a smart TV. You can
Yeah.
most smart TVs you can download games directly off of whatever hub it uses to to navigate your apps and whatnot.
And you know what?
It seems like it's just a generic,
Yeah.
watered down version of like you
Speaking
said, like
of
a
stuff
Fire
like
Stick.
this, this week I heard a rumor, and it's just a rumor, of Nintendo possibly releasing a Nintendo Switch Mini.
What? Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to have like a 4 or 5 inch screen
Mm-hmm.
and no retractable
Controllers.
controllers.
So it's just
just a mini console, just a little bit bigger than this phone right here,
So like a Nintendo 4D.
a 4D. But it's a Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love that.
So
'Cause one of the things
it's
that-
gonna play the Switch games just on a smaller, compact
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things I love about that idea is just putting it in my back pocket and walking around with it. Taking it everywhere with me.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
yeah. I
And
mean,
then
it's
when
basically
you get
like
home, you
like
just dock it.
so it will dock.
Yes,
Okay.
it'll have all the features of the Nintendo Switch that we have right now.
Okay.
Minus the taking
Taking
off
out the controllers.
Taking off the controllers.
All right, all right.
But it's
sounds-
still gonna have a gyro in it. It's still gonna have all those little things. Except
right.
the screen's gonna be smaller.
And this is just a rumor.
Right now, it's just a rumor.
How
There
did this
was-
come about, though?
There's a concept that was leaked also, and it just I want to say that it was found on one of the forums. I want to say Reddit, but I'm not 100% sure. And this person in the past has leaked information about other things from Nintendo that turned out to be true.
Nice.
So
So
let me see if I can
it's-
find it for.
So it's a reliable source, basically, is where it's coming from.
Well,
I
a
could-
lot of people still think it's hearsay just because of what it entails.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if this guy's been on it before, then I think it's possible that there could be some truth to it.
I don't see how it wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I mean, it being a rumor, nothing official, but I don't see it as not being possible if they're just eliminating certain physical functions and reducing screen size. I mean, battery-wise would be almost about the same thing. Ports, to connect the power and headphones and whatnot.
And
can
there it
remain the
is.
Same.
There it is. Let me move my head here.
Oh,
You can see the Switch on the left, the Mini on the right.
4-inch display, no dock included. So it says no dock included,
But
it
that
doesn't
it's
say that's not
compatible.
dockable.
But it's compatible with a dock.
So you'd have to buy a separate dock station.
Right. So, I mean, just look at that. Just imagine something about the size of this, just a little bit longer, everywhere you can take it. Because, I mean, I love the size of the Switch as it is right now.
It
Because
does
it's
sound
easy on the eyes. The screen is really big. It's really nice, like a tablet screen. But the portability is a little bit killed for somebody like me that I just want to
It is a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, most people that I know, either they buy the case or they stuff it in their backpack, not like on their shelf.
Right.
Something like that, it does make more sense where you can fit it into your back pocket like you would a smartphone or whatnot. But I don't know if anything has been discussed on this. The knobs, the D-pad, the buttons would have to be more flush, because as it is, if they pop out a little bit, those controls are gonna, get in the way. They're gonna get, caught in your
Right.
pocket liner or whatever. So if it was like a flush, I'm not saying it has to be like a digital
Right.
sensor, but if it was more flush, more flatter into the console, that
Right.
would work beautifully.
That would be great. You should work for Nintendo, Rick.
Rumor has it. No.
Well, there's been a lot of other news as well, but this is the main news, and our time has run out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for another edition. Legalize Marinara. This is another edition of DGT Live. Thank you very much for joining us today. Remember to check us out on other forms of social media as well. Until next time, enjoy your games and love your families. I'm Leo, along with
Rick.
See ya.
And not Francisco.
Not Francisco. Bye.
It's Daddy's Game Time.
Remember to check us out at digitalgametime.com, as well as Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, all at keyword Digital Game Time.